he's not ready?
Hmm?
I'm not asking you. What's he doing that he's not ready?
Okay, so today our topic is God gives the 10 Commandments.
I knew that.
What is the topic?
God gives the 10 Commandments.
Tara, what's the topic?
God gives the 10 Commandments.
Commandments. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so our memory verse today, Zara.
Yeah.
Our memory verse today is Galatians chapter 3 verse 13a.
I like that.
And it says, Christ redeemed us from the curse of the law. What does it say?
Christ redeemed us from the light of the law.
Curse of the law.
Christ redeemed us from the curse of the law.
Tara, what does it say?
Christ redeemed us.
Christ redeemed us
Christ redeemed us
from the curse
from the curse of the law.
of the law. Again,
Christ
redeemed us.
redeemed us of the law.
Christ redeemed us from the curse of the law. So our reading today is from Exodus chapter 20. Yeah? Exodus, go back. Yep, 20, find 20, go forward.
It should take him too long. It should take him too long.
It's fine, don't worry about it.
There's a teacher in the video. Who cares?
Found it? Yeah, that's it there on the right. So we're reading from the first verse, right?
The first verse of the book.
So
From 20.
so you're gonna read, yeah?
Who, me?
Yeah. From verse 1 to 11.
1, 2.
Okay, can you read? Okay, go on.
Then God spoke all these words. I am your God. I am the Lord your God. I brought you out of the land of Egypt where you were slaves. You must not have any other gods except me. You must not make for yourselves any idols. Don't make something that looks like anything in the sky above or on earth below,
Listen.
or in the water below land. You must not worship or serve an idol. This is because I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God. A person may sin against me and hate me. I will punish his children, even his grandchildren and his great-grandchildren. But I will be very kind to thousands who love me and obey my commands. You must not use the name of Lord your God carelessly. The Lord will punish anyone who is guilty and misuses his name. Remember to keep Sabbath as a holy day. You may work and get everything done during 6 days each week, but the 7th day is a day of rest to honor the Lord your God.
Now, do you stop? you're meant to read from 1 to 11, right? So that's it.
That was reading too quietly.
Did you not? Have you read 11 already?
I haven't gone past 11, and I haven't got up to 11.
Okay, read them.
Not your daughter, not you, not your daughter or son, or your men or women slaves, neither your animals nor the
What was that?
Neither your animals nor the
Let me see. Foreigners.
foreigners living in your cities may work.
Okay. So let's check the. So obviously we know in our homes we have rules and regulations.
What's that?
So that's like rules that we need to abide by.
Oh, I know.
And God is our Father, Heavenly Father, and He has rules. So that's what we'll be looking at today. God's rules and how we should behave and how we need to live our life.
Yesterday we read one rule.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
should not steal.
You shall not steal. Yeah. So we're going to see all of them today. So like the same way your teachers give you rules in school, and we give you rules at home. God has His own rules as well. So the first set of rules that we've just looked at, because it's 10, but we haven't gone through all the 10. So the first set, yeah. The first set talk about our duties to God, yeah, and how to have a good relationship with God, yeah. So rule number 1 says you should put God first in your life. God has to be your number 1. God has to be the first. So that means like when you're doing something, you have to check, is God gonna be happy with this or not? Because God is seeing you, isn't it? Right? You getting it?
Yeah.
So nothing should come between you and God. Some people worship false God, or like we said, you call them pretend gods. Some people worship pretend gods, yeah, and they worship, like they can say they worship the sun, or they worship this, stars and all that stuff. But that's not real God, isn't it? And God doesn't like that. You understand?
Yeah.
So that's about the first commandment says you should have no other God apart from God, yeah? Don't worship anything else. So the second rule is God says you should not make any image or bow down to them. So like some people, they might make carve like something, or say like, you know how this statue is. Some people,
Very still.
yeah, some people might make a statue, sit down, some people might make a statue and then start bowing down to the statue and say, oh, statue is my God, blah blah blah. And they might teach their children to do that, and then they'll be deceived and they don't know the real God, isn't it? So God said not to do that. Yeah?
So there should be no statues.
No, we should make statues, but not to worship them like they're God. Do you understand? Because they're not God. Rule number 3, you should not use the name of God in vain. So like, don't use God's name don't disrespect God's name. Do you understand? So like, say you want to say you hurt your finger, yeah, or you feel disgusted, you don't call Jesus, you don't call God's name, because that's disrespectful to His name, because He's holy, isn't it? Yeah. So like some people say I swear to God, and that's not respectful of God's name when you swear and all those kind of things. And then the 4th one says you should remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. So what that means, that we go to church like Monday to Friday, we go to work or go to school Monday to Friday, and some people even work like some people work on Saturday as well. But God said you should take out one day to honor God and worship Him, which is why we go to church on Sundays. Yeah. So should I read the next?
The church is basically school, because at school we have children's church because we learn about God.
Yeah. So it's not just about learning, you also worship and serve other people and help other people in church.
In my Bible it says rest.
Yeah, so the Sabbath day is a day of rest. So when you rest on that day, then you worship God on that day. So you don't go to work. That's why we don't go to work on Sunday. Most of the time we don't go to work on Sunday, because we want to worship God and rest on that day.
Except for Mummy. Mummy's been doing her schoolwork for 6 weeks.
Isn't it? Yeah, but she doesn't go to work. She's at home, isn't it? Yeah.
Because her work is so important.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll read the next part, yeah? So that's from verse 12, right?
Yeah.
So it says, honor your father and your mother so that you may live long in the land the Lord is giving you. You shall not murder, yeah? That's to kill someone. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal.
What does adultery mean?
I'll explain that soon. You shall not steal. So that's what we did the last time, yeah? And then you shall not give false witness against your neighbor. That's lie against your neighbor. You shouldn't lie against anybody. And you shall not be jealous of someone's house or their wife or whatever they have. Right? Okay? So this set of rules talks about how we deal with...
What about the last one?
Huh?
What about the last one?
No, we finished at 17.
I'm cold now.
Hmm?
I'm cold.
Oh,
Can we
sorry.
do this at home, please?
No, we're gonna
Why?
finish soon. I told you guys let's do this, and you guys were busy talking and arguing. Okay, so so this set of rule, like the rule we just did before, talks about how we relate with God. But this one talks about how we relate with other people around us. Yeah. So the fifth one says we should honor our mother, so that we owe our daddies and mummies respect,
To
yeah,
show that we love them.
and that we respect them, yeah.
Yeah.
So when we obey them, God is happy and we receive blessings from God, yeah. So the sixth rule, yeah, the sixth rule better.
Yeah.
Okay. The sixth rule says that we should not kill. So that means we must not hate people or fight. Yeah? Because hating someone and fighting can lead us to killing. Yeah?
Lead us to what?
Killing someone.
Just like you shall not steal.
Yeah. So that's if you read about Cain and Abel. Have you read about Cain and Abel? Okay, so maybe one day we're gonna do that. So if someone hates someone else, that might make them to fight the person or kill them, and God doesn't like that. Okay. And seventh one says we should not commit adultery. Yeah. God does not permit.
Adultery.
Okay, hold on. God wants His children to live pure life. Yeah. So that means that God doesn't want us to do things that only married people can do. So like acting like you're married. Yeah. Because only married people can do that. So
Only when you're a grown-up.
only when you're grown up, that's when you can do that. Yeah. What's the other one? So the 7th one says, a man can break this rule by even the way they think or they look at someone. Okay, so the 8th rule says, you shall not steal. That means taking something that belongs to someone else without their permission. Yeah? Or even cheating.
Like in a race.
Yeah. Because they're meant to win, but you're making them not to win. So you're stealing their prize. Like if there was a prize, right?
Same as Tara. Tara does that. Tara tells me to go slower. But I don't have to.
Yeah, but sometimes you can just do that to make her win. Sometimes, but that's not what we're saying though. Like what we're saying, like proper, serious, like cheating. Like when someone cheats, not like when you're cheating because you're playing. That's different, isn't it? Because you're playing, isn't it? Or like when someone is cheating to get something that they shouldn't have. Do you get it? Okay, so the 9th rule says you shouldn't lie. Yeah. So that means you always have to tell the truth. Yeah. And the 10th rule says you shouldn't covet. So that means like you're having like desire for something that other people have, and you're not content. You just feel like, oh, because someone has something, I need to have it. Do you get me? So,
your desire.
Ahab. Yeah, the desired neighbor's land, isn't it?
Yeah.
We talked. So it doesn't belong to them. So that can make you do that stuff if you're always thinking of, you know, taking something that belongs to someone else, or wishing you have something that belongs to someone else, and you're not content. You're not happy with what you have. Do you get it? So God doesn't like that. So those are the 10 commandments, and those are the laws of God. So with that, we know what God likes and what He doesn't like, and that will help us to live the life that God wants. Okay? So God's rules are part of our life as Christians. Yeah? The reason He gave them to us is because He loves us and He wants to protect us from getting hurt. God knows so much about us, and you know, even more than we know about ourselves. That's why He gave us these special rules, and they're only for Christians to live a good life. Okay? So without these rules, nobody would know what to do and how to obey God. So that's why He gave us these rules, so we know how to live a godly life. So these rules are going to teach us to serve God and to treat everyone around us in a nice way. Okay? Yeah. And if everyone lives by these rules, everyone will have a happy life. Lastly, the 10 Commandments teaches us to make right choices in our life. So anytime we're doing something, if we remember the 10 Commandments, then that will help us to, if we're going to do something bad, we change it and do the right thing, right? Yes?
Michael never does something good.
Who's that?
Michael.
Who's that?
He's 5 years old and he's in my class.
Okay. Well, if you're living a good, you know, a good life and you're following God's rules, then maybe you can teach him to live, to do something good. They can learn from you, isn't it? If you're doing something. Okay? Right, so we're almost at the end. So question time.
Yay!
Happy? Okay, so which sets of God's commandments refer to God, and which set refer to man? So we have A, rule 1 to 5, B, rule 2 to 8, C, rule A and D, and rule 5 to 10. So which one refers to God and which set refers to man?
Which one refers to God?
Yeah.
And which one refers to?
Which of the rules? Because we have rules different. The first 5 rules, isn't it? Actually, the first 6 rules refer to God. Anyway, let's leave that. So, in what way do people take the name of God in vain? How do people take the name of God in vain?
Can you like say one of them?
Yeah. So I'm gonna read a couple of them. Yeah. So then the answers, then you choose the right one.
Yeah, but you're just saying anything.
Huh?
But that means you're saying anything.
No. I'm telling you, giving you examples, and then you tell me if you can find out how you can point out how people are using God's name in vain in that. Yeah. Okay. So A is going to church. B, being obedient to your parents. C, swearing, cursing, pretending, and making false promises. D, eating and drinking. What was the answer, Tara? Are you listening?
Yeah.
Okay, so first answer is going to church. Second answer is being obedient. C, third answer is cursing, swearing, and pretending, and making false promises. And D is eating and drinking.
C.
Well done. C, cursing and swearing and pretending and making false promises. Okay, so next question: what does God want the Sabbath day to be set apart for? So A is going to school. B is playing with your friends. C is going on vacation, and D is for rest and worship.
A.
What is A?
D.
A is going to school.
Sabbath day. Remember the Sabbath, the rest day.
The last one.
Yeah, the last one, right? Which is for rest and worship. Okay. And last question. Mention as many as you can, like as many of the 10 commandments as you can. Yeah. Okay, so how many of the 10 commandments can you mention?
You shall not swear, you shall not steal, you shall not pretend, you shall not make false promises, you shall not lie,
Yep.
you shall not be disobedient, you shall always believe in God, and you shouldn't bow down and pray to idols.
Statues. Yeah, idols. Well done. What other one? Have you said you shall not kill?
You shall not murder.
You shall not murder. Yeah. Which other one?
You shall not
Commit adultery.
What does adultery mean?
I explained it before.
No, you haven't.
Maybe next time we'll do another explanation. So yeah, that's it really. Those are the that's it. So Tara, okay, say a prayer and then we're done.
But if Mother pray,
Amen.
Lord, we thank you for all my life. Thank you for taking care of us through the coronavirus. Thank you for our family and friends. Thank you for school. Thank you for church. Thank you for everything in my life. Amen.
Surely.
God, goodness and mercy
to
to
us,
us,
all the days of our lives,
and we shall dwell in the presence of the Lord forever.
God bless you.